Hey everyone, it's Trish here again, and today I'm back with day 5 of my fall 2014 fall series. And today I'm creating a card for the Scrappy Mom Stamps new September release. Today I'll be featuring the stamp set entitled All About Fall, and it just works great for this time of the year with a lot of great sentiments. So I'm starting out with some Simon Says Stamp 120 pound heavy-duty cardstock, and I'm going to be using this for the main panel on my card. And I'm cutting out a rectangle using the Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle stackable dies that just came out in one of their latest releases. I have both the large and small set. I believe this one happens to be part of the small set, but they work together. So I bought both sets so I have each size kind of goes down about 1/4 of an inch around the edges, which I love. So I just showed there that it has that really nice stitched edge that I absolutely love. And I'm pairing it up with the Paper Smooches Falling For You stamp set, and I'm using the apple on the side, which I love how the inside is kind of cut out so that you can see it. And so I'm taking some Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm going to be stamping the apple in that because I will be using Copics to color this apple. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but when I stamped it, I didn't really get a super crisp image like I like, which is not a big deal because you'll see later on that I'm just going to go over it with a fine tip black marker. So moving right along, I was going to start coloring and then I realized I wanted to see exactly where my sentiment was going to go, but I held off on stamping it because I wanted to go ahead and color it. And there you'll see that the edges aren't super crisp, but no worries. So I'm going to go ahead and just color this quickly. I'm pretty much just using 2 different colors of Copics for each color category to create a little bit of shading. For this one I'm using G21 and then a little bit of G94 just to create very slight shading. But like I said, some of these parts are super small, so it doesn't really make a big difference if you only use one color. And then for the stem, I'm using E35 and then a little bit of E49, and then you'll see that I'm using the E35 and touching it to the E49 to kind of get an in-between color, and then coloring the rest of it in just to create very slight shading. In fact, I probably should have just colored it all E49 because you can't really tell, but no big deal. And then for the core of the apple, I didn't really want to leave it stark white. I probably should have went a little bit lighter with the warm grays, but in the end, I really like how it turned out. So I'm just using W1 and W3 to color that in and really saturating it so that the blending works out okay. You'll then see that I'm going to take a pencil and I wanted to just draw in some of the core of the apple seeds just to give it more of a, cartoony look, I suppose. And I'm just filling those in with E49. Next I'm moving on to the apple, and I was thinking about paper piercing it, but then I decided I wanted to keep this really simple and classic. So I'm going in with some reds. I'm using 2 pretty drastic colors. I'm using R05 and then R29. But I really like how the combo worked out. The R29 is pretty dark, and you'll see that when I lay it down. And it doesn't really blend with the R5 quite seamlessly. However, I'm using that same blending technique where you do the tip-to-tip markering. And so I'm taking the R05 and touching it to the R29 and using that to blend out the edges where the R29 and R05 meet. And then I wanted to color some shading underneath the apple just to ground it a little bit, and I'm using C3, C1, and then the colorless blender just to really make it fade out into the rest of the page and not be so choppy at the edges. Then I'm just taking my fine tip marker. This one happens to be a Faber-Castell, and I'm just going over the edges to really sharpen them up and make them super crisp black. You'll see to the left of the apple, definitely not perfect, but that's okay. That's what homemade cards are all about. But it really just sharpens up the edges of that apple perfectly. So now I'm taking my sentiment, it happens to say love you to the core, and I'm stamping that again in Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I generally like to stamp my sentiments in VersaFine Onyx Black ink, but I wanted to make sure that it still matched up with the apple ink even though I went over it. And so that's why I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I've cut a piece of Nina Desert Storm just 100-pound cardstock. This is brand new cardstock to me. I love craft, and so I thought I'd try it out, and I really like how sturdy this cardstock is at 100 pounds. And so I've cut it down and scored it for an A2 size card. And then I'm using this strip of patterned paper from the MME My Mind's Eye Christmas Wishes. It's an older stamp set that I've rarely touched, but I just really wanted some of that plaid that I associate with fall and Christmas time to really tie in the rest of the card, and it just gives it a nice finishing touch. So I've put a strip down the center. It's about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches, and I just glued it right behind the panel. And then I'm thinking that something else is missing. I need just one other thing. So I'm using this brand new My Mind's Eye Sleigh Bells ring. They're almost like brads, but they're called wooden dots, and they're really cute. I got them from Butterfly Reflection Ink, and I just like how natural the lighter colored ones are, and it really went perfectly. And the last thing I did was just add some glossy accents onto the red portion of the apple, and that completes my card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to check out my blog for a list of supplies used as well as direct links, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.